I love the idea of consulting experts. So let's do a hypothetical here. Let's say I was starting a new charter school in your fabulous state of New Mexico, and I take your advice. So the first thing I want to do is talk to an expert, particularly in that area, who's made it work. If I were to approach you and say, what is one significant action that your school has taken that's really allowed you to stand out and provide effective outcomes? And I know it's an oversimplification to only ask for one thing in that regard, but what's a piece of advice you might give to me?
Hire right.
Mm.
I would tell people hire right. Like I think that, I'm sure you've heard the expression, your front line produces the bottom line. You've got to have great teachers. You have to have great leadership, great coaches. And in that you hire around the values of the organization, you hire around the mission. Right. But I think that, and there's not enough that can be said about the importance of hiring effective folks, right? And I think it starts more around the values part. You find people like our core values include passion, like passion for this work, you know, that extreme ownership, like taking 100% accountability for yourself, like really owning things, working hard, like that's all part of that extreme ownership, right? And then our third one is that growth mindset, that willingness to learn and grow. When we try to hire, especially, teachers, you don't have to come with like lots and lots of teaching experience. I can teach you if you're passionate about serving the students that we work with. If you deeply believe in our mission, I can teach you those things, but you've got to have the growth mindset and be willing to learn and grow. So I would tell people the number one thing I would say is to hire the best talent that you can find.
That's really interesting. And when you talk about the best talent that you can find, you made an interesting distinction there between the things that you think you can train in a teacher versus the things that that teacher has to bring to the workplace. And you were saying you can train subject matter expertise at your school. You can train experience if they lack teaching experience. But what it sounds like to me, and not to put words in your mouth, is the thing that you can't train, that they have to bring into the door, is a shared sense of vision and a passion for this population.
100%. 100%. And we screen for that much deeper than we do all the other experience. Certainly we talk about their other experiences, right? But there's certain things I can't teach, certain attributes. Like you either come to the table with that or you don't. So we really drill down to that. And then we never stop coaching, talking about it. I mean, you kind of are eating the mission and the values for breakfast every morning, right? Like we're constantly infusing that into everything we do, because it's really easy to lose sight of why you do the work. Right. And so if we don't constantly kind of bring it back, remind folks of the mission, remind folks of the, our vision of what our core values are, it's easy to start to kind of drift. And next thing you know, you're kind of into things you shouldn't be, or like, your focus loses focus when you're not really lasered in on the mission of the organization. And every decision, our values are our goalpost. Right. Every decision we make, it has to fit within the mission and the values of the organization.